Hello folks, we are camped at Colwell Lake Campground. Not too different than the last place we were at. It's primitive, vault toilets. They have water spigots at the beginning. They have 3 water spigots that aren't working, but they have good water at the beginning, so that's not too bad. It's on a lake. Our site is right on a lake, which is dangerous because you know who's just sitting there in the car waiting to play ball. He wants to play in the lake. But to give you a quick tour of our campsite, we're campsite 13, and on this side we have a trail to the lake trail and the beach, which is way down the road. But that's the road out there, and there's my nearest neighbor way through the bushes. Not too bad. And I got a neighbor on the other side of him running a generator and playing Pink Floyd, Brick in the Wall, very loud. We'll hope that this is a Labor Day weekend camping trip, so I don't expect it to be wonderful, but it'll be all right. And then on the other side, we've got just regular older couple, look like lifer RVers, and they're knitting and cooking and having a good time. But this is the lake. Let's take a walk out to the lake. And there's the star of the show in his dressing room, and his ball is over here under the. There's his ball under the tripod. So he is like chewing at the bit there. We'll show you the lake. Maybe we should throw up the drone to really show you the lake. There's this trail that goes all the way around the lake to all the campsites. It has some chairs and benches and things. We have our own private little beach here. About midnight I'll be out here looking to do a little skinny dipping because we haven't had a shower in 3 days. But I don't know if the lake is low, but it's got an awful lot of beach all the way around the lake. It's got beach, it's got lake grass things. It's got a nice fishing pier over there, but it's a pretty big lake. I mean, it would be fun to kayak around it. We're away from the Great Lakes we're away from Superior, I think 15 miles, and I don't know how far we are from Michigan. Lake Michigan's below us, probably 10 or so miles. But this is really nice. For solar, we've got cloudy skies. Hey, get out of there. Look at that. Came down. He came down to wade in the water. Come on, back up. For those that are interested in solar, we're in a pretty tight forest here, and we're really parked right under a very dense hemlock. However, we are getting 0.12 amps above what we're using, even with the extreme shade and the overcast sky. So I'm hoping we'll get enough solar if it clears up that we'll have no problem keeping the batteries above 50%. It's about 50% when I'm going to have to worry about bringing out the generator if it's not the very last day. I think our next campsite might be electric. I'm not positive. We have our 2 water jugs out and my transfer system for putting water into the water tank. I don't run around with the tank full, and I keep it around the 3rd tank just in case I need to flush a toilet or something. But here, because we're here 5 days and there's no water bathrooms or anything like that. I did put the tank up to half full, and what I do is I fill these and bring them, they're 5 gallons each, and then I have a little drill pump that, you know, one tube goes in the jug and one tube goes in the trailer fill, and the drill just runs that. And so we put roughly 8 or so gallons into the tank, and where it says 2/3, but you know that they don't read very well. So this is a pretty typical site. They're all about the same. They kind of dome in the middle. I don't know why, but it's hard to get any level on them with an RV. You got to have leveling boards to go under your wheels. And this is what ours is like. Is more like this. It's pretty much the same. But we have the lake right behind us, and the picnic table and fireplace next to our trailer. It's they put down this rock, which isn't quite sand, but it still kind of sticks to your feet and comes in the trailer. This is the water spigot. Unfortunately, I'm told it's broken or not working. Yeah, doesn't seem to have a lot of water coming out of it. But they are these nice handles. If you're just a regular handle, or the vault toilets. I don't understand why they're men and women's. Does it have a lock? It's nice and clean. You got a lot of smell stuff in here, but it's even really nicely swept and everything inside. Not bad. So that's your basic tour of the campground. It's all pretty much all the same. Every campsite is about equally big, equally deep, and you know, it's just a matter of how far you are from the vault toilets. We're gonna take a walk around the lake, I guess, while we're out walking around and waiting for my frozen hamburger to slightly de-thaw so I can cook it and not have a frozen hamburger in the middle. For some reason, the mic decided to give up the ghost here, so I'll try to wing this. But anyways, what we're doing is I don't like to cook greasy foods inside the trailer. So I have the little stove from my A-liner, and I put that on a stool, and I'm cooking outside by the outside gas connection. It's a really nice setup. I have also a table that I can bring out, but the table's kind of excessive for just one little tiny hamburger. And so we're cooking on the propane stove, and it works out really well. I just have to kneel down, which I have pretty good knees at my age, so I don't really care. But we're going to cook dinner, and the boy is going to have to wait for his dinner until mine's done, so I can screen out the pan and scrape it into his dinner dish. This is mine and Akila's campsite. We're sitting here in our chair. He's sitting in the car, of course, watching the sun go down as it reflects off the water, and the 2 canoers are going by. It's a pretty special place. Maybe I should consider a kayak. They look awful fun. We are walking the trail around Colwell Lake. That is our campground name, Colwell Lake Campground. And this is a really nice trail. I love these trails where you have these great big hemlocks. These are huge trees. And they're in healthy shape. We're right side of the road in this particular section, which just amazes me that these weren't cut down. Hemlocks weren't big on logs for wood because they just weren't, they don't have very good grain. But now they use them for fences because they're kind of rot resistant. Not very rot resistant, but some. But there are some huge hemlocks here, God. But we're having fun. This is a very old growth forest. Some great big pine trees there too. I think there's a great big white pine. That would make the nice mast of a ship. Sorry for the... Look at that. All the way up. Straight as a arrow. And these are hemlocks. It's a white pine hemlock forest. And you can see underneath it's rather bland and bare. And speaking of bare, that's probably a log that a bear tore apart looking for grubs and stuff. There are bear, moose, coyotes, and wolves in the Upper Peninsula. I don't know how many of either. I don't think the populations are very big. Now, wouldn't you think if you were going to see a Bigfoot, you'd see him in this dense forest jungle here. This is some dense pine trees, hemlock trees. I'm pretty sure that there's a Sasquatch. He's right in there somewhere. Probably hiding under some of these logs. We made a quick stop at the Sullivan Creek National Fish Hatchery. It's a federal fish hatchery for lake trout. And it was built by the CCC back in the 30s. And it's a pretty unique type of hatchery because it only does brood fish. These are lake trout. They're kind of a bland looking fish that tastes like greasy tuna. They live at the deepest parts of lakes where the water temperature is the coldest, and they're not a very good fish. They don't fight much or anything, but people like to catch them, and they do have some good nutrients in their oils and stuff. But these are the pens they live in, and these are big fish. These are not the little fish that you see in most fish hatcheries. It's a different way of raising the fish. They keep the adults in here 5 or 6 years, so they're really big fish. Feed them, take care of them, and when they get to the season for mating, they just pull them out and milk the eggs in the roe into a bucket, stir them up, and then raise the eggs to fish. And I don't know what size they actually stock. Usually you would stock what they call a 7-inch, 6-inch fish into the water, and then they just disperse and decide where they're going to do and what they're going to do. But they might hold them for till they're like 10 or 12 inches just for better fishing possibilities. There's no light in here. The camera is making it look bright, but there's no light. They've got these little tiny lights on the ceiling that they're just glowing in orange, and this is how the tank works. It goes in one end and pours out the other end, so it's constantly moving, and it's got a good flow, and it's got good oxygenation and everything. Here's a couple of pictures, though. I took some snapshots with the flash to show you. Oh, here's the truck that they deliver them in, so if you're out on the road, you might see the truck, and you'll know that they fill the tanks with fish, and then they just throw them out the back end. Oh, and if you're in the UP and you're looking to camp and you need firewood, just be sure that there's firewood every couple 100 feet. They sell it everywhere for any way you can buy it. Firewood anywhere, and you want to have a big fire and lots of wood. So you also see some old sheds like that and some old water towers from the 1800s. And this is the Takamani Springs building. If that's for sale, if you want to start a business.